The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Oh, we no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
As always,
as usual,
Steph Hefner.
Steph Hefner, and the demented and fermented.
Hi, I'm here too. My name's Wayne.
I like how we're spicing up. It only took us 130 episodes.
Done it
129.
128 times. I want to do it differently for once.
All right, I might start changing things up in the. I'll think of a new phrase, a new thing to say right out of the intro.
In the interest of time.
In the interest of time, let's
Why don't you
get
do
this
that
show
later?
on the road. We have traveled not too far outside of the Philly area. I don't know if it was a far drive for you, Steph.
It was about 50 minutes.
About the same for us, factoring in traffic. So we made it to Malvern, Pennsylvania, which can mean that we are only at Locust Lane Craft Brewery. So far, having a hell of a time here. And we had a couple of beers before we started.
Yeah, we're a few in, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, we're a little loose already. This is a good way to start. But we have a couple guys who were kind enough to donate some time and, well, beer for the night. But, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, we've got
Tom Arnold, the brewer.
Tom, thank you, and
Jason Cartwright.
And Jason, gentlemen, thank you so much for having us out here. And for coming up to the table, yeah.
I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but we have to clarify, not that Tom Arnold, right?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not. Had enough of the Roseanne Barr jokes in my life.
I'm sure. I'm sorry. That's
Thanks
the
for the
last
extra one.
one.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
one more,
last
yeah.
Awesome.
1,001 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot that's, this place is cool. I haven't been here before. I know Wayne said he hasn't been here either. Steph, of course, has, because she gets everywhere.
Yep.
Like I said to you, Jason, earlier, Wayne and I don't get out very much. So it's cool to come out here
right.
and have a reason to drink and talk about it. But the space here is awesome. From what I understand, there's been a little expansion since Steph was in here, which we'll get into that probably in a little bit. Now, you guys were kind enough to give us a sipping beer as well. What are we sipping on?
This is our ESB.
All right.
Yeah, this is our one of our 4 flagship beers, and goes over really well with those who know ESBs. We've got a lot of Brits that come in and reminds them of home. So hopefully you guys enjoy it.
I mentioned to Jason that I remember having this the first time that I was here, and I always seek out breweries that respect those old English
New
styles.
life and new
And
civilization.
It's so tasty, and so, yeah, it's
This is delicious. Yeah, when we got here and, like you said, we had some time to hang out a little bit, which doesn't often happen. I looked at the board and I saw ESB. I was like, I got to try that. Because I love a brewery that can do a great ESB. It's a great ESB. Yeah.
What'll be fun, too, is I just bought a couple of Firkins to put it in Firkin casket and
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Are you
a new
freaking
project.
serious?
I'm Firkin serious. So
What
starting
about a
with-
hand pump?
Starting with first one will just be gravity fed. I got a pin, the smaller one, a 5-gallon, to kind of test with, and then got 2. Hopefully we can get them into some good bars like Teresa's or someplace like that really would appreciate that kind of beer.
Yeah. That's really cool. And, of course, don't forget those out in their podcast land. You can interact with us and be part of everything and see all of our travels and adventures and beer ventures and whatnot. Go to beerbusterspodcast.com. You can follow us. Misadventures, missteps, misquotes, all the fun stuff.
Mispronunciations.
There's a lot of them. Like me just trying to say the word mispronunciations.
Universe.
I added an H in there somewhere. BeerbustersPodcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BeerBusters, and of course on Facebook. Nobody's going to use the URL. Just on your Facebook app, type in the searchy thingy, Beer Busters Podcast. You will find us. And for the love of God, someone other than Joe Man, please use this.
Wait, I haven't heard it yet, by the way.
You haven't. You'll
That's
hear
for
it.
later,
I'll plug it in and play it in last call.
It's a last call
We'll
message.
make it a last call
Nice.
message. And Joe Man, thank you for the entertainment. It was like a 2.5-minute voicemail, and I almost cried laughing from it. I can't wait for you to hear this. But call us, leave a voicemail, text us, 805-991-BEER, 805-991-2337. Call us maybe.
Please. Not
Call me
maybe.
baby.
Definitely.
Yes.
Call me baby. Call us and call us baby. Specifically.
Yeah.
Or sing to
all of
us.
Well, you could sing
But not
to
that
us.
song.
Not that song, no. What would you want them to sing? What would they...
Stone Temple Pilots.
No.
Beck.
Wow.
Taylor Swift.
You're missing
Garbage.
a real
Swift.
important one.
Garbage.
That'd be great.
How about Katy Perry?
No.
I'm not going to say Weezer.
Well, you just did.
Beer Busters karaoke. We just started a whole new thing, guys.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Make that a
Let's do
happy
it.
fun time
We
game.
are so getting sued.
Not necessarily.
We're going to be playing people singing songs that we do
So,
not have the rights to.
if
on our
you-
that's true.
If
Oh, we
you
know
call-
all about that too.
You
If
can do
call
it in here. We're okay. We're licensed.
Oh, yeah.
We're all,
Oh, you're
we're all paid,
licensed?
yeah, we're
Oh,
paid
yeah.
for here.
You
We're
have
all
like a
covered.
BMI,
You're good.
everybody.
Yeah, one of those
Ask Kat.
blanket royalty agreements
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you call us and sing a song, make it legally distinct from the original one.
Or short enough.
Or
Yeah.
short, yeah, because what is there like a 30-second
7
limit
notes,
or
I
something?
think that's in
7
there.
notes.
Seven
Yeah, it's a
notes?
number of
7
notes.
notes.
Well, what if you just
I
drag
can
out
name
the
that
notes?
tune in. I love how early we derail now.
I
Oh
know.
yeah, well we've already been drinking so far, so that
True.
kind of helps
we,
out.
we are setting tangent records on this podcast
are.
lately.
Yeah. And you know what I enjoyed too? Normally, when you get to a brewery on a Friday night, some are, the food trucks are aplenty. Not many do live music early on a Friday, but we had live music before we were
Yes,
able to
we
set up.
did.
Yeah. And he
It
sat
was
over the
super
corner.
soothing and
It
groovy,
really
too.
was.
It was really nice, yeah.
I told him we'd give him a second on the microphone. Mike, if you want to come on over, man.
Come say
Oh,
a few
you can't.
words.
You can't be shy now.
Yeah. Yeah. We said we'd give you a minute, so...
We'll give you your
thank
5
Tom.
minutes of
Tom was
fame.
kind enough to donate his microphone. How do you pronounce your last name?
Mooley?
Mooley, that's what I was going to say. So Mike Mooley.
Imagine there's an umlaut over the U.
Oh,
Mooley.
Yeah,
your mind.
there you go.
So
Mooley.
Mike Mooley, you were saying to me that you are also a producer as well, right? So you're a
how
musician
cool.
and a producer.
Yeah, I
Okay.
cut records and play music for a living.
Very cool. Do you play Locust Lane here often? Or do you come here often, even
Yeah,
if
this
not
Do you
is
playing?
come
my
here
third
often?
or fourth time.
What's, what's a guy
Are you
like
hitting
you
on
doing
me?
in a bar like this? Like
I think Dan's hitting
Well,
on
listen,
you.
sweetheart, I play music and I play it good. Let me tell you something.
That is true. That is
If you
true.
want to hear it, come to Locust Lane.
Yeah.
But this is my third or fourth time, if I'm counting right. And I met these two actually. I met Brian. Brian.
Yeah.
I met Brian at an event 2 weeks ago. That was the first time I met the third guy. But these two gentlemen I met over some events at Chatsford Winery, where I spent some weekends at. That's also one of my elusive gigs. I do a lot just to get things going.
so you like to sing and drink?
Yeah, some may say. Some may say. But
nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
I met these two gentlemen at a Chatsford Winery event, and the rest is history.
Cool.
And I've been here. Yeah, this is my, I believe, third gig, maybe fourth,
I think 4th. Yeah, 4th.
possibly fourth.
And what's your favorite Locust Lane beer?
Locust Lane beer.
Yeah.
I would probably say the Saison, handcrafted
Nice.
by this guy here, Tommy.
Tommy.
That is, by the way, I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it's the correct answer. It's like my favorite style of beer.
Wayne does love a good sizzle.
Yes.
That was me taking a sip of the Saison. It was delicious.
Very nice.
So if people want to follow you online or find out where you're going to be, you've got MikeMooleymusic.com, right?
You should
Yep, it's
spell
my-
that.
Yeah, it's
Mike Mooley Music. Mike Mooley Music. MULI
Yes.
is my last name. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Are you
and
available for
YouTube.
parties and bar mitzvahs and whatnot?
As
long as they supply
I
beer?
am available for parties and apartments.
Random basements.
Even random basements, man. Like
Maybe for our 200th episode.
Hey, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're only 71 away.
Yeah,
only
no,
71
it'll only
away.
take another 4 years.
No, 2 years.
2 years, probably, yeah.
Something like that.
Very cool.
But yeah, the tunes were great. Cover
Yeah,
tunes,
definitely.
some originals as well.
Yeah.
You and a guitar and that smooth voice was
Yes.
very enjoyable to drink to. We
Yeah.
definitely,
Really
definitely.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Those
man, and the
kind
covers that he
words.
did, you had a nice little unique spin on them, which was cool to kind of soothe it out a little bit more.
Yeah,
I approve.
definitely. I like to throw my personality into the music. That
Did you
I
do
make.
Hendrix? Did I hear a Hendrix song while you were playing?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did a lot of Hendrix. I don't know if you noticed that I'm left-handed.
I did
And-
not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but growing up, or as a guitarist, growing up as a musician, not really as a person, but
To be
as
fair,
I
Tom, I didn't
developed,
mean it that
as
way.
I developed as a musician, I eventually caught on to Jimi Hendrix being left-handed and black. Like he's someone that like I was very quickly going to come across
Of
as far
course.
as guitarist, and his music, his style, his voice, creativity, lyricism. He's got a lot of stuff that I aspire to. So I play a lot of Hendrix music. It makes me feel like a better musician.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome.
Have you ever set your guitar on fire?
Oh, jeez.
no.
You don't-
Hopefully, after I make my
I was
first
just going to
million,
say you don't make enough yet
I can
to do
afford
that,
to do
right?
something
It's
like
not a good
that.
move, right? Like it'd be the best gig ever, but the last one you ever do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't do it here.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sooner
depending
or
on where you
later, when I have guitars to burn in a literal sense, I will do that.
There you go.
Love it.
Well, Mike, man, the tunes were great. I'm glad that you appreciate a good beverage while you're doing
thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming up, and keep up the awesome work.
Yeah.
We'll hire you for a bar mitzvah soon, I promise.
Cheers.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. Well, we do have a lot we got to get into here in the world of Beer Buster, so let's go for this. It was a relatively slow news week coming into recording this episode, which I feel weird saying, because it's going to be like 3 weeks until this comes out.
It's always the case.
Yeah, pretty much. But recently marked the end of an era for Dogfish Head Brewing, as they started to demolish their original Rehoboth Beach brew pub a couple of weeks ago as of this airing. The building holds 2 decades of memories for Dogfish and its fans. The brewery posted a live video of the demo on Facebook, and the article notes you should probably grab a Kleenex because you might get a little teared up watching it. So there was a crowd of people that included longtime brewery employees who gathered to watch the demolition. There were dozens of people who often make some sort of annual or multi-annual, that's a word, right?
Occasional,
periodic pilgrimage.
Semi-annual.
Right. Down to the brew pub. So that's a bunch of messages on the Facebook just going over about like, hey, thanks for the great memories and thanks for the great beer and everything. But Dogfish, they didn't let all the memories slip away quietly. The Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Department held a series of silent auctions throughout October featuring some of the brew pub's most memorable features, which included beer signs and sections of the bar and replicas of barrel-shaped booths, which I think is pretty cool. And Dogfish founder and CEO, of course, Booths. Yeah.
Booths. I thought he said boots, too. Yeah.
I was like,
Booths.
It's a heavy boot.
Yes.
Electric boots.
I was thinking, like moccasins.
Yeah,
But for-
exactly.
anyway.
Well, like snowshoes. So the big
Snowshoes.
flat,
Yeah.
you just like the slats.
It is winter now, sort of. I mean,
Lots of snow in Rehoboth.
yes.
Yes, yeah,
Lots.
lots. Yeah, known for it. Yes, famously.
Yes.
You know that ocean effect snow.
Sam had to chime in saying it's the end of one era for our original brew pub and the beginning of a new one. The new Rehoboth Beach brew pub opened in May of 2017 with more seating and a bigger stage for live music and a new food menu.
And I assume there's an actual brewery. I haven't been there yet, believe it or not. I have not been to the new one.
I haven't even been to the old one.
Me either.
What?
I know. It's like I said, I don't get out much.
That's sad.
I work and then drive for this.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
When
Go
Rich
ahead.
got his Camaro, the very first place we drove to was Dogfish Head.
That is a fun fact.
Yep.
I found that fact
Did
very
you know?
fun. That was amusing.
There you go. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Stone. We all know them. I love them at least.
I love them.
Okay, good. You can
I
say-
love Stones.
All right, Stones. Okay.
Stones are great, yeah.
Stones are great.
Yeah,
Sticks
Stones
and
are awesome.
Stones.
They're a good musical
I
group.
can't get no.
And that was only a couple notes. We're good. Stop.
I'm good.
Stop.
That was enough.
Oh, hey, wait, guys! Breaking
news.
I think I have a new patron to add to our roll call.
What?
Really?
Someone has just increased their Patreon donation
Ooh.
and is now eligible to have their name read on the
Yes.
podcast.
It's not the roll call part yet, though.
Well,
no,
no,
it is
but
not.
we're
but,
teasing
like,
that.
I just got the notification.
Cool.
So that's 2 new patrons on the roll call.
Oh, yeah.
There was
Yay.
another one.
Wait.
Yeah.
Cool.
You guys got to come
Exciting
here
stuff.
more often. This kind of stuff happens when you come here.
I know, right? People just give us more money. How
Yeah.
about that?
Sweet.
You can find out who in just a little bit.
But yeah, thanks for that. And
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
We'll be bringing that up later.
For the last 2 years, Stone Brewing, who is known worldwide for their love of hoppy beers, they have been quietly designing a wild ale program. As many breweries across the U.S. are debuting sour ale programs, Stone seemed content with what they did best, IPAs, of course. And as you can imagine, the announcement takes a lot of the brewery's fans by surprise, according to this article. So Stone's Mission Warehouse production facility has been churning out barrel-aged and small-batch beers for some time, and the brewery decided that Mission is home base for future arrogant sour ales.
I see what they did there.
Yeah. The first one they're going to do is the Stone Mission Warehouse Apricot. It's going to be the first release they have. The base beer was soured, then blended with barrel-aged barley wine and a strong, highly hopped triple. And these 2 threads were aged on 3 different strains of Brett yeast.
Stone, we're going to get you drunk.
Of course.
There's a lot going on there.
And to top it all off, Stone shoved 500 pounds of peaches into the 4 oak barrels.
Millions of peaches.
Exactly. It took about 18 months to
That was too many
complete. The Mission Warehouse Sour, it's on sale. Tickets are on sale through Eventbrite in 4-packs. Must be picked up at Stone's Company in Escondido. Doesn't really say anything about Virginia. But
Gotta love beers. You gotta buy a ticket to buy.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
We got a ticket to drink.
So I kind of feel like Stone's always been known for like IPAs.
No,
hoppy
they're known
beers.
for Crime and Punishment.
And yeah, I know, but it's always
I like
been,
the arrogant ales.
It's been their IPAs, their intense, and then like their dark beers. And
They do a lot of Belgian style
and of
beers
course
too.
Woot Stout, obviously.
Crime and Punishment.
I feel like sour beers just doesn't, and it's kind of like Dan alluded to it a little bit earlier. Like, doesn't really. When I hear Stone doing sour beers, it feels a little like.
Aren't they Enjoy After? Aren't they like sour IPAs
Are
or
they?
something? I haven't had one.
That I was not
Which
aware
I
is
of.
don't
surprising.
remember one being sour.
There's
unless you
Enjoy
had
By, and then there's
There's
Enjoy
yeah,
After.
Enjoy After.
Hold on.
This
She's
is
Fact checking.
fact checking to look it up.
this is an
You
edit
need a
point.
fact check drop.
Edit, yeah,
Yeah,
Fact
we
check.
should.
do.
Yeah, Brett
actually.
IPAs. See, I told
Was
you.
it?
Enjoy After. They are. Oh, I have had one.
I
I had
retra-
the Enjoy After July 4th, 2016.
I hereby retract my previous statement.
Well, I don't remember it being a Brett IPA, but thank you for checking.
But sours isn't what comes to mind when
No,
I think
not
of
at all.
Stone. Is what I'm saying, and I feel like I wonder if that's like something like. Is that guided by like genuinely what they want to do with beer, the kind of thing they're getting into, or is it guided by market forces where they feel like, okay, we have to get in the sour game now because people are collecting
Yeah,
sours,
it's-
standing in line for sours?
there's-
I
things
just
like
think
that, yeah.
breweries need to constantly evolve. There are
Oh, that's
so many
true. Yeah,
breweries
right.
doing so many things that you just have to constantly evolve and try new things. And why not do sours? I mean, they have a reputation for making amazing beers. Why not? If they can do everything else so well, why can't they do this well? I think it's awesome.
Well spoken.
And I will buy it. Well, no, because I don't want to have to buy a ticket for it, but I will buy
Or
the sours
fly to-
that I
or
don't
fly
have
to
to.
California.
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd go
Pick
to
it up.
Well,
California.
have you been to the brewery in Escondido? It's
No.
pretty freaking awesome.
It's pretty freaking
And
far.
it's very close to Lost Abbey.
It's
And I
not
love
too far
Lost
for
Abbey.
Steph to get beer.
I wonder if they're going to have
I'll
any
go anywhere for beer.
The Richmond.
So wait in line for 7
Location.
hours and also sit on a plane for 7 hours.
It's only 5.5.
But
maybe.
it's so close to In-N-Out Burger.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm not a huge fan.
You
I will never live that down.
really won't.
I had In-N-Out Burger for the first time this past summer with Dan, and I told him it wasn't that great. And he
Don't ever say that to Rich.
Yeah, I've gone down several pegs in his books.
Never
since
tell
then.
him it wasn't that great, is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Sometimes I wonder how we're related.
Moving on.
Moving on. So we are at Locust Lane.
Awkward silence.
Yes. Family rivalries. We are at Locust Lane here in Malvern. It was a nice little ride up here, cool little scenic road that Waze took us on. And of
And
course,
I do want to point out there are 2 vegan restaurants within 2 miles of here.
cool.
For my fellow veg friends. There's the
Those
Sao
are?
Tao, and then there's the Greyhound Cafe, which just opened about 8 months ago. Which I ate dinner there on the way here, and it is quite delicious.
Can
So
you
there
take a
go.
bus there?
You can walk there from here.
Well,
it's
no,
literally 2 miles up the road.
Greyhound.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Aha.
now. Anyway,
Yeah.
we talked about vegan treats on the last episode, so I felt like I
You're-
needed to plug the
You're
local
on a
vegan
roll
places
with
here.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Locust Lane. You guys have been open a couple of months now, right? About 7 months? If I'm doing the
7
math
months.
right? Yeah,
7
so
months.
April of 2017. So we're recording in November.
Interesting note. You opened on April 1st. Did anyone think you weren't actually opening a brewery and it was
Lot
just a
of
joke?
questions
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. That's kind of funny.
We had to reinforce that it was for
Really,
real.
like,
That's
this
the
is-
second
yeah.
most jokes. Second thing that Tom gets jokes. No, never mind.
Oh my goodness.
I
think I know what you're trying to say.
The funny thing is, I know entirely what you were trying to say, but
It's
there's
the
no way
second
to,
thing in Tom's life that he gets jokes about.
that he's tired of hearing.
That he's tired of hearing.
And
Thank
that's
you.
the second one that I've brought up.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
A while
So
to get
Tom's
there.
not going to like you.
Nah, it's okay.
So
We'll
what?
get there.
What prompted starting an actual brewery? I know you guys were home brewers for a while, right?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
I started, my lovely wife's here right next to us filming all this. But
Your
her-
paparazzi.
Yeah, my paparazzi, my personal paparazzi. But yeah, we started actually, funny enough, we started making wine at home, and I just didn't have the patience for it, waiting that long for something to age in a bottle. So we started doing some beer kits. That was probably like 2006, and then, the rest is history, just growing from there. More extract stuff, and then got into all grain brewing, and then I took a course at Seabill Institute, a concise course online. Got more into it even that. Bought more equipment, started investing more, started disliking my previous job a lot more, and that's what grew into wanting to do this for a living.
So now that it's 7 months now, and we've heard from a lot of brewers you've had on the show where like you were a home brewer for a long time, had a day job, a 9 to 5 in a cubicle or whatever, and was just like, I love making beer. I didn't like what I was doing, for a living. So I thought, what
Yeah.
the hell? Open a brewery. Has it been everything you hoped for and more? Has it been
Yeah,
a little more stressful than you anticipated, less stressful than you anticipated?
No, the thing is different about the previous job is you don't let it go. You go home and it's on your mind all the time.
Yeah.
You can pop in the computer, check on QuickBooks if you want, or
Right.
read up on brewing or whatever. There's always something to do. So that's the part that's different. The other job I could walk away from and that was it. But I hated it when I was there. So
Right.
maybe that's a strong word, but disliked it a lot when I was there.
Right.
So no, it's been everything, and there hasn't been any surprises. Maybe we had a really good start, and it's been a little bit more difficult. I thought after a great start that we'd just roll, but it's been a little bit difficult getting our name out. We thought we'd be better at that. But other than that, no.
Yeah, I imagine, and I don't know, that's something we've really talked about a whole lot on the show before, but I imagine the environment right now when you open a new brewery, everybody wants to check you out.
Yeah.
Like it's a brand new spot. We want to try your beers, check it out. But I imagine that sort of honeymoon period does kind of fade, and you kind of have to fight to maintain, that clientele coming through the door.
Sure, yeah, and then open up in the spring too. Like spring's a busy time, so we had a great spring, and then summer people kind of go away, and then they forget about you, and you got to remind them.
Yeah,
you got to get on them.
Yeah, definitely.
So what have you been doing to try to? I mean, you had the live music tonight.
Yeah.
We talked about the football games being aired on the TVs. Having a bit of a tailgate. So are you trying to focus on events for people to come out? Is that the big focus to get people in the tap room?
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. I mean, the events that we've had so far with the Penn State games and tailgates, and they've all been great. But I think our focus now is really getting out into bars and restaurants. I think that's where we probably should have done that a couple of months ago. But that momentum is really starting to build now with a lot of the places that we're going to and bring our beer to for the first time, getting a really good reception. And I think that's what's ultimately going to bring people back here, is that the people are out in local restaurants and they say, oh, Locust Lane has Malvern. Wait, that's right around the corner from me. Yeah. So that's where I think we're going to focus moving forward. But we're still not going to get away from the sports angle. I mean, we're three guys that love sports. We all went to Penn State. It's definitely something that we're going to continue to focus on, especially now with the Eagles transitioning into that and heading towards the playoffs. We're really going to focus on trying to bring people in here to watch those games as well and enjoy some good craft beer.
You just want to relive your college years, basically.
Oh, yeah. Every day. Who does every day?
Never left to begin with.
Yeah,
mentally.
Right? But only now you can drink the beer that you've made. Well, I guess if you were homebrewing before, you probably would drink the beer you made as well.
Yeah. The problem was I was at home before, and I got to drive home is the problem.
Uber.
So you guys all met at Penn State, like in the 90s?
Yeah.
So it has,
we look that old?
It has been... No, I just...
Wow.
I had
to go there.
Wow.
I have good notes.
Yeah.
I did see you guys met.
So it's not. But the point I'm trying to make is it's not like you were in college and had this big idea like, we're going to open a business, we're going to open a brewery together. Like it was a chunk of time since you guys first met.
No,
so
but we
how
did talk about it there.
So it is something that's been
the three of us.
brewing.
Well, not brewing. It's more like we want to open a sports bar and just drink
bar
all the time and watch sports. Is basically what just the brewing part added on.
Right.
Made it better.
We went in that direction. Once Tom really got into brewing, then Brian and I, when Brian is. He's actually on his way to Penn State now with his family to go to the game tomorrow. That's why he's not on the podcast. But Brian and I would come and kind of help Tom, and it was good for us to kind of get back and reconnect because Tom was actually gone for 5 years. I don't know if you want to go into that.
Well, we all went our different ways for a while. I mean, you went
your different way.
You were in New Hampshire and whatever. Yeah, I ended up in Bermuda for 6 years.
Whoa!
Working,
oh wow, that's not a bad place to end up.
No, not in your 20s. It's not. You get a little bit older, it gets a little bit boring. But in my 20s, it was awesome. It was a good 6 years. But then moved back here in 2003 and with the same company, got lucky with the relocation. So I'm from an hour. I'm from Easton, Pennsylvania. So
yeah, we know Easton.
Weyerbacher.
I got like Weyerbacher and Two Rivers.
Yep.
So we all kind of went our different ways. The only one that didn't go anywhere was Brian, who's actually not here, ironically.
Now he's on his way.
Yeah, but he's never lived outside of Chester County, I don't think, in his whole life.
No.
While the other, we kind of, these are the guys I kept in touch with when I was away. I mean, that was pre-email, internet, Facebook, all that jazz, so it was harder to keep in touch with people.
So it was a natural fit then for the three of you to go into business with each other. Now you, Tom, were the first and only full-time employee here for a while. Is that still the case?
Still
really?
Am, yeah, I'm the only one. Yeah, I'm here all day, every day, and talking to myself all day. My wife will come in and listen to me talk to myself sometimes.
You need an intern. That's what you need.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You need an intern.
Yeah.
So each of you, I assume, brings some sort of special talent to balance this and make it all work.
That's what's good, too, is that the three of us have three different skill sets. We don't step on each other's toes. I deal with, if you're here, you can see there's a wall between the tap room and the brewery. The wall back is me. They get out of the way when I'm back there. I kind of direct them, and they do what I need to do. Up here in front, they deal with up in front. So Brian and Jason deal with the employees, deal with outside sales, deal with the events and everything, and I kind of help, and stay out of the way as best I can. So, and it's good. Like my background's accounting, so I deal with the accounting. I deal with the brewing. Jason deals with I'll call him Hoss. It's Hoss for crying out loud. His name's Hoss. It's Hoss Cartwright, Bonanza.
Going back even further.
Going back. But Hoss, Hoss is marketing guy. He's not good with money, so he shouldn't be the accountant. And then
I want to buy.
Yeah, and then right. You're not kidding. And then Brian's got great contacts with local government. He's been in construction and construction sales forever, so he's great with building this place. And he's just good with that relationship side with with people that you have to have good relationships with, that being local government and PLCB and TTB, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and even here in the tap room, the very first time I was here, I met Brian. He and I hung out at the bar, and then Brian with an I, the bartender behind the bar. I was me chatting with the two Brians, and while I was impressed with the beers, I always look for that connection when you come to a brewery. Like, is the staff going to care who I am? Are they going to try to have a conversation with me? And
did they?
Yeah, and it was awesome.
Just checking.
But no, that's something, especially with the number of breweries out there that you can go to. Of course, the number one thing is good beer. I'm not going to go somewhere where there's not good beer, but there's also that relationship. You want to go. You want to feel like people. They care that you're there. They want to get to know you, and you want that cheers feeling,
Norm,
when you walk in.
No!
I think everyone wants that, and I did feel that the first time I was here. I do want to ask about Locust Lane, though. Where did that name come from? Street name, I assume?
It is a street name, yeah. So we met in 1992 at Penn State. And at Penn State, we were fraternity brothers in Delta Upsilon. And our fraternity was on Locust Lane.
Perfect.
So that's where it comes from.
The street sign's on the wall.
Yeah, I saw that when we were sitting down
right
earlier.
cool.
So
it's the actual street sign in State College. Yeah. So that's where it comes from. It's
That's
actually
pretty awesome.
it's kind of neat, too, because there's two different angles you have on it. One are former Penn Staters, especially a lot of people in Greek life, because there's a lot of Greek houses on Locust Lane. So they come in and say, wait, is that the Locust Lane at Penn State? Even if before they know we're Penn Staters or anything like that.
Right.
And then you have other people that are, I think there's a Locust Lane somewhere in Malvern somewhere. And then there's the Locust this and Locust, and they're like, wait, but you're not on Locust Lane.
You're on the wrong road.
Right, yeah, but it's just an interesting talking point about the brewery. So
that's cool.
It's worked out well.
So in that picture, there's a cross street. What's the other street?
College Ave.
College Ave. Yeah,
Okay.
Main Street at Penn
That's
State,
where
yeah.
Irwig's is, right? Irwig's is on College Ave.
I don't recognize Irwig's.
Come on, Irwig's, the Austrian place. The best restaurant in State College.
Wow.
I don't.
You feel very strongly about
I
that.
think way on
And their
West
motto
College
is
Ave.
where bacon is an herb.
I could tell you. I can tell you where the best bars are in
And they
State
make you
College.
order
Where
in
the best
German.
restaurant is. What was it?
Well, the best bar is no longer.
The best bar doesn't exist anymore as far as we're concerned.
We have a memoriam to the best bar at State College. It's a G-Man.
The G-Man.
Right above the
Oh,
State
the
College.
I was going to
sign.
ask
I
what
saw that
was.
too. Yeah.
The G-Man is no
what
longer
about
there.
Zeno's?
Zeno's is there.
Yeah, but that was a beer bar. We weren't like beer bar guys. We were quantity, not quality at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where do you get?
Yeah.
Where's the $1 pitcher night? And where's the $3 Yingling pitchers?
But it was foreshadowing though, because they had
Yeah.
$1 pitcher that was Coors Light, and we're like, nah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We're going to go Yingling
At least
Lager.
like Yuengling,
We're
yeah.
going to go Lager.
Yeah.
Well, at what point then did you start homebrewing? If you were quality or quantity over quality, when did you realize you wanted to make your own of quantity?
Yeah,
Quality.
I mean, you know what? It's funny.
Quality.
Being
Or both.
Or both, really.
in Bermuda, I got to taste a lot of cool British beers that made it over.
Yeah.
So I got more of a taste there. I mean, that's when I started to pull away from the liquor. That's when things got a little bit shady
Well,
and so went more to the better beer and then came back and then more better. It was probably like mid 2000s.
Now you pulled away from the liquor, and now Pennsylvania Distilling is opening right next door.
Yes,
Right next door.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask about that too. When we pulled up, I was kind of upset to see that they weren't open yet because I wanted to go in and get
So
some whiskey
question
or something.
one, when are they opening?
When are they opening? And question two is, do you see yourselves doing like any barrel programs with anything from them?
Yeah,
I am so happy to hear that.
Absolutely. Their equipment finished up. I think they got pictures of the equipment finished either yesterday or today.
Oh, cool.
It's coming out of Ohio, same thing. Whatever.
Oh, Idaho.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
west of here.
Yeah, it's
They
somewhere.
both begin and end in vowels.
Yeah.
That was
Wow.
good.
That was good. So their stuff's on their way, and they're just kind of waiting on it. It sucks, to be honest with you, for them, but they're dealing with it, and they'll be open as soon as they can.
And your equipment came somewhere we love.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Cape
about that.
May, Cape May Brewing. So. Yeah, when we really started looking at places. Well, actually, we didn't start looking at places yet. I found this equipment on Brewer Association forum. BA forum had it, and I'm like, Cape May, it's the right size system. What do we want? I'm going to go and look at it. I went and looked at it, met Ryan Krill, who's the CEO down there.
Former podcast guest.
Chris Henke as well. He's the engineering side, or the brewing side, I guess you could say. Yeah, and worked out a deal to buy it from them, and we had it in storage for a year before we got it here.
Wow. So you had the opposite problem that the distillery
Yeah,
has.
exactly.
You had the equipment and nowhere to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, these guys thought it was nuts. Like, they couldn't believe I was buying equipment without a place, and we hadn't really even had a solid business plan at that point.
And
but
now they realize you're a genius.
Yeah, well, it's still early, but yeah.
Or lucky, or
yeah,
both.
yeah.
So was the plan always to start with a pretty decent sized system?
Yeah, like the more we read and the more we researched, it was more about, if you're if you're gonna do well, you don't want the smaller system. You're gonna outgrow it so fast, you're gonna work your butt off. So might as well, get as big as you can get and afford. And this was in the price range as a used. It was only 2 years old when we got it, so it's only 3-4 years old now. So it was in good shape.
Work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
So I do it the other way.
Yeah.
So a lot of our stuff's from them. That the brew house, the boiler, auger, mill, glycol setup is all from them.
Almost the whole shebang
So-
from beginning to end. Yeah.
Yeah, just from Enter.
Would you just get a U-Haul and bring it
No,
up
you
here?
hire riggers. No, I'm not
Oh,
yet.
show those-
We wish, yeah.
No. We hire
Pretty big.
No, they're riggers will go pick it up and they store it for you
Yeah.
right in their warehouse and then
That's
bring it up
nice.
when you're ready. Yeah.
Did you say how big it is? I might have missed that. How big
15
is
barrel.
15 barrels.
15
okay.
barrel. Yeah.
And you've got a decent amount of fermentation space from what I saw over there.
Yeah, we got 5 15-barrel fermenters at the moment, and they can be mirrored on the other side with another 5 if we move things around. And then we got another 1,000 square feet in the back that we're not even using yet.
So a rare circumstance where we come to a brewery. Usually we go to breweries and they're like, yeah, we're buying new equipment. Where are you putting it? Here I can actually see you guys have a decent amount of space
Yeah,
to grow and expand, which is
space
cool.
we have, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice to have that, the foresight to have,
That's the beauty of renting a place that's not on the main drive. I mean, we would have been more people seeing you if we were down on Route 30 here on Lancaster Ave, but paying less rent up here gives us that opportunity to grow.
Yeah, definitely.
And people are willing to go a little out of the way to go to a craft brewery,
Yeah, as long as they know you're here,
Yeah.
definitely, they'll come.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hopefully we're here to help that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
Thank
Let
you.
people know that they're here.
We appreciate it.
That's kind of what we
Thank
do.
you very much.
So I want to talk about you have 2 different sides to your tap list. I guess there's your staples, which I think are very creative, and I want to talk about why you chose those staples. And then you also have seasonal beers and experimental beers. So let's start by talking about what's on tap all of the time. What are those styles, and what was the influence to choose those styles to be your regulars?
IPA is a no-brainer. You got to have an IPA, right?
Of course.
And we played around with. Actually, it's funny. That one I played around with so many different hops and recipes. I just it's overwhelming sometimes how many different options there are.
Yeah.
So I literally sat down with Corey Ross from Fancy Camper Homebrew down the road here. Good friend of mine. He's helped me out a lot. I got out the book of hops and we just started looking through, and we started looking at what hops were available, what they cost, where we can get them on Lupulin Exchange or via hop producers, and what the taste profile was and what we wanted to go for. And we picked the 4 that we went with. It was Cascade and Bravo, Galena, and Chinook. And it worked out really well, and we stuck with it. So that's the IPA. Pale Ale, we wanted like a less hoppy version of this similar thing. So it's Simcoe and Citra. It's real, it's got that Cat P, Simcoe, Citra.
You
type.
said-
Wayne's all about that.
Yeah,
Wayne's
you
favorite
know what I
word.
mean, right? So a little bit of ammonia or whatever the heck it is. Anyway, so yeah, we want a pale ale. So
And that's a sentimental one too.
it
That
almost-
pale ale. This was one of the first ones that we made, and tried it with our friends as a home brew, and they're just like, "Man, this is really good beer."
It's good, yeah.
We're like, "All right, guess we're sticking with pale ale."
So and we want to have definitely want to have a stouter, but we love stouts. So we want to have a stout. We want to have something on nitro.
Yes.
And then that third one was one that we toyed around with. I mean, we ended up settling on ESB, but we were talking about others as well. But it's funny the ESB. I remember it's Conshohocken won gold in the World Beer Cup a year, like with their Puddler's Row. I remember seeing them like that's a cool style. Like let's try it. We made it, and it went over. Like every time we went to an event and had our beers on, just trying to testing with people in different places. The ESB was a beer that we pulled non-craft beer people in with. They looked at it like, oh, it's kind of dark. I'm like, well, just try it, and they drink. Oh, this is really good. So we stuck with it. We just stuck with it and became one of our founding 4. And as far as so we wanted one other IPA, so I was doing the experimental IPA series, always playing around with hops I can get. I mean, we've gotten hops from the Stable 12 guys. Had some mosaics. We made a mosaic one. Want to make a Citra one. We had had some extra Citra at the time. just what we have extra and what we think will do well.
So do you always have at least one experimental IPA on
Yeah,
tap
one-
at all
at least
times?
one, yeah, is the
And
goal
is it
now, yeah.
it's your base IPA just with different hops, or do you play around with the recipe? All
And in the first couple variations, it was the base IPA, the same grain bill, but with different hops at different levels, different quantities.
Right.
IBU level changed, everything changed. Now, the most recent one we added some malted oats from Deer Creek Malt House. It's got a touch of cloudiness to it, not a lot. And the
not a
malt-
hair Dutch.
Not a
yeah,
Heritage.
right, yeah, right. So, it was an experience working with malted oats. They're just so. I didn't realize how small they were. I'm used to seeing the rolled oats. I was like, what the hell is this? Anyway, but it's an awesome product. Deer Creek makes great malt.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the next one is number 5. We're planning on is going to be a double. We're going to try to go more cloudy this time. A little bit more of the,
Give the people.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
exactly,
is that market
yeah.
forces
Yeah,
at
yeah,
work?
right, yeah.
Exactly.
part of it, because
Exactly.
we really didn't want to go down that road, but you end up going down that road,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other seasonals are like, what would people like in summer? Let's make a saison, or what, here comes winter. Oh, what's our higher ABV stuff? So, I got an Abbey double we're going to be making on Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just kind of playing around. What haven't we made? What haven't we seen? What would do well this time of year? I try to do small. We have a Sabco back there to do 10-gallon batches. So we do these test batches and put them on and see how they rate. So we don't want to make the pumpkin beers example that's on right now. It's an oatmeal stout pumpkin.
Which I had some of that earlier. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we don't want to make a full batch of pumpkin. We're not going to probably
Right.
sell 15 barrels of pumpkin. So why not do a couple of test batches worth of it and have it for a couple weekends and it'll work out great. So just having fun with it, trying different things.
Any lagers in the future?
Yeah, eventually. It's when there's enough time to hold something in a fermenter.
Yeah.
We kind of want to turn things over at the moment, so the ales are a little bit quicker and easier. But yes.
Come on, make a pilsner.
It probably will be next spring for next summer, like when it's, I don't think for this winter, but come spring or summer.
The Kolsch is quite nice, though.
Yeah.
I was
the Kolsch
pleased
is
to
really
see
good.
a Kolsch on.
Yeah.
That made me happy.
The Kolsch goes over well. Real well.
It's delicious.
I meant to ask about having the ESB on. So you said when you were in Bermuda you had a fair amount of British beers. Is that why you want to have an ESB on?
Yeah, no,
or?
the ESB wasn't something I had there necessarily, but it, it's just the British influence there.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of led me, and so a lot of, our beers are mostly a mix of German and English, to be honest with you. So, German is what it is, and it's always good, and yeah, the British styles. The British ale yeast are so good; they just make such awesome flavors. The ESB, a lot of the flavor in ESB is from that Y yeast product. It's awesome.
And like you said about it bringing in non-craft beer drinkers, I think English styles, if you can get people to try them, which is sometimes a struggle, are the perfect kind of beers to introduce people who drink, Coors or Budweiser or whatever. Like that's a good stepping stone beer to give you, because
Yeah.
it doesn't have the. I think hops are intimidating if you're not into craft beer.
Absolutely.
And highlighting that malt character is a good way to say, like, beer can have really cool stuff going on. Give this a try.
Yeah, and like the ESB, people ask what it means, and you say extra special bitter, and there's no way.
Yeah.
Right.
You almost got to rename the
Yeah.
damn thing, even though it,
It's called the English ale or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it called an ESA or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
or like rebrand it just to make the same thing.
We just
and-
need to educate the public.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
we need to do.
It's really not that bitter, relatively speaking.
It's really not.
Don't be
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
So we mentioned this a little bit earlier, I think, on the show, but you are now starting to distribute your beers. What is the range? How far out are you going distributing kegs?
So we want to focus as much as we can, 5-10 mile radius around the brewery. Really, hit that market hard. Right now, the furthest we are at the Boathouse in Conshohocken. So I think that's the furthest account away that we have. We just moved up into King of Prussia and moved down into Westchester a little bit. So those are kind of the newest accounts that we have. But we really wanted to stay as close as we could locally. Just to, because that's where our customer base that didn't really know us yet, that's most likely to come, are the ones that live right around the corner. So get in front of where they are now and then bring them back here once they try the beer out there.
And what are some of the local bars? Do you want to plug some of those local
Yeah,
places
sure.
that
So
are pouring your beers?
Absolutely. First place we were at was The Office up on 29. That's a really cool spot, and Frank up there is just a great guy, and gave us a shot. Actually, I think Tom and Brian went there for lunch
Before we were building the place.
before we were building the place. And Frank's like, when you guys have beer, bring it here. And we did. And he put it on, and then the IPA has been doing great there. So he was number one. But we're on the Flying Pig in Malvern, Suburban up in Eagleview. They've got a great beer program up there. All Pennsylvania beer. that they serve up there. So that's another great spot. I already mentioned the Boathouse in Conshohocken. I think we just sent some to the Sidebar a couple days ago down in Westchester.
Sidebar, Restaurant 51 in Westchester, Bar Avalon in Westchester.
Kildare's in Westchester.
And
to your vegan point, True Food in King of Prussia just opened up. We just sent our IPA there. It should go on tap tomorrow.
I'm
hopefully.
told.
Yeah.
Oh, how
so
cool.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it's a really cool spot. I didn't even really know they had beer. I went in there. I went in with my daughter, who's vegetarian, and we were just sitting at the bar and looked across, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's Manioc."
A tap handle.
Tap handle.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh my God, I got to talk to the manager. You know?
That's
and then
awesome.
2 weeks later, we're on tap. So
They have
really
really
cool.
good food there, and
I
it's
think-
not
Oh, yeah.
all. They have
No,
meat too.
they have
but
everything.
I
it's
totally
very
think
vegetarian
we
friendly.
need to start a new segment of the podcast that you host called "To Your Vegan Point." I love that.
There
I
you
just
go.
love the
You're
way
welcome.
you said that.
You're
to
welcome.
Your vegan point.
I'm all for it.
I think it's a good idea.
So,
Yeah,
are
and-
you mainly distributing your year-round beers, or are you distributing a mix of everything that you're making, or whatever kegs you happen to have available?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, we kind of started with those founding four, you know, with a pale ale or especially an IPA going out there first. And then recently it's been coffee porter. A lot of people have wanted kind of the seasonal. And right now, one of the other first places we went to is Chad's Ford Winery. I know, Mike, you mentioned we did a couple events there.
Yeah.
And they've just opened a place up in King of Prussia right outside of the mall. Where you're literally, if you've been to King of Prussia, they used to have the two sides where you walked outside from one
Yeah.
side to
Yeah,
the other.
yeah.
Now you can walk
Now
inside.
it's all one mall.
It is. It's all one
I
massive.
haven't been back since we
Voltron
joined
into
it.
the biggest mall in the world.
It's unbelievable.
Well, it is
So-
officially the largest mall in
Like-
terms of retail space.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Mall
not-
of America
not amusement space.
has like, the
Yeah.
amusement too.
Yeah, so they've made it worth it to actually go back outside now because they have a huge wine garden where they have fire pits and cornhole and everything right outside where you used to walk. And they serve our pale ale and coffee porter as
cool.
well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's
so this
awesome.
is
Yeah.
it's and right now it's decorated with all holiday lights and everything. It's amazing. So
Well, and that's really good to know because we stopped by King of Prussia last weekend and I saw that Rock Bottom is closed now.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they closed
Yeah.
very, very recently, and I'm
Yep.
like, well, that's kind of a bummer. And I know City Tap House, City Tavern,
City Works.
City Works.
City Works, whatever it is. I mean, they
Yeah.
have a pretty decent tap list, but this is good to know that at least there's still some good beer at King
Yeah.
of Prussia.
What's
Yeah.
nice about the Chad's Ford thing is you can grab a beer or the wine and walk around the mall with
and
it.
go into the mall.
You can walk around the
yes.
whole
Really?
mall with a
Yes.
drink in your hand.
That's allowed now?
Yes.
That is
That's their
one of the
license.
coolest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The holidays are going to be a whole different type of spending over at the mall
You
this
got Black
year.
Friday coming up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's going to be black for a
it's gonna
different
be
reason.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Blackout Friday.
That just blew my mind. Blackout Friday.
People spend more money if they're drunk, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Seriously.
No.
Loosen 'em
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
Did
Except public safety.
did I hear right that you guys are going to start canning?
You did.
Okay.
You did. Breaking news.
Breaking
We're dropping
on
a bomb.
Beer
Can.
Busters. Yes. Although this is probably going to, I don't know when this is going to.
It's got a couple
drop.
weeks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll probably be before that. But yes. So by the time you hear this, come to Locust Lane and buy those cans from us. But yeah, we'll be canning the experimental #1, which has now been renamed 3-Ton Citra IPA,
Ah.
and our Kolsch as well
Yay.
will be canned.
Nice.
Exactly. So we're kind of sticking with our viewpoint as well. Every time we go to a beer fest or an event or somewhere, we always try to bring, and we call it a hoppy and a not hoppy.
Yeah.
Because you get people coming up
Yeah.
and there's like, what do you have? And we're like, do you like hoppy or you like not hoppy? So we figured with the canning, we do the same exact thing.
Hoppy?
So we
Not
not
hoppy.
hoppy. Yeah.
More crushy,
hoppy hoppy, less hoppy
More
hoppy.
crushy, less crushy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Shout out to Levante.
So we are, so we will be doing that. Well, actual canning will be on the 21st, and the day before Thanksgiving is when we will be releasing those beers in cans.
All right.
Good day to choose. Yeah, definitely.
Wait, I think that is also Red Wednesday at Victory.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty freaking sure.
And didn't we tell
'Cause
Bond
you could
Place
go
they
there.
needed to
Yeah.
release
you
something?
can go there
that
for
day?
go to Victory for breakfast, and then come here for cans for lunch.
Exactly.
Because I assume you'll have a food truck, right?
So are you
We
guys,
will. We'll have a food truck. We'll have music as well. We got I can't think of his name. Vince.
Oh,
I think
Super
of his
Vince.
last name. Super Vince. This guy's
Super
jacked.
Vince.
Big
He's
smile
awesome,
Vince.
though. But he's jacked.
Super Vince.
The great performer. Yeah, so he'll be here as well. Food truck will be here. Actually,
And-
same one from today. R2 Grub Spot.
And possibly the ESB on Firkin.
And he is beyond.
Oh, it's
nice.
called Dark Wednesday
Dark
now.
Wednesday.
Ah.
Because
Red
it's not
Wednesday.
Red Thunder.
Dark
They're
Wednesday.
it's.
Do they make Red
Wisdom's
Thunder
Hour.
anymore? I never see it anymore. It's one of my favorite beers
Can I
ever.
just point out how awesome it is that the day before Thanksgiving is now becoming an awesome
beer day?
Beer release
It's,
day.
it's the biggest bar day in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but now it's
everybody
becoming like
just-
this big beer release day, too. I love
Take it
it.
over, man.
Yeah, take it to
Yeah.
your Thanksgiving dinner so you can drink and put up with your relatives.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So,
That you sit at a table with doing a podcast.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So are you guys getting your own canning line, or are you doing like a mobile canning line?
Mobile canning line, yeah,
All right.
and it's been
Oh,
fun.
come on. You have room for it.
Yeah, you do have
You have a couple bucks we could borrow?
Eventually, yeah.
The question is, do you have the money for
Right,
it?
exactly.
The mobile line seems like the way to test the waters with it. And if it goes
Absolutely.
well, yeah, then get your own.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's been a
You need to make an event page for the can release so we can share it on.
It's
Coming-
all
coming
lined up. We are
tomorrow.
waiting for this conversation to
it is
happen.
coming tomorrow.
All right,
Ah.
sounds good. Then we will
Nice.
share it.
Yes. Yeah, so that's been it's been a great process. I mean, just Tom went up. You went to Stable 12 and saw the guys that were doing
Yeah,
the
watch
canning
them
up there.
canning there. Yeah, different group, but
Yeah,
got
but
to saw the
basically
process.
saw the process and said, yeah, we can do that. And then the whole design process for the label has been a lot of fun. So we'll be releasing that over the next couple days, just so people can get excited about that. And it's going to be great. And this was that first experimental beer that we launched was, what was that, June? May,
Yeah, I
June,
can't
something like that. Yeah, I don't remember, but
It was on when I was here. The first
Number
one,
one,
experimental
Citra.
one.
Yeah.
It was warm out. I sat outside. That's all I remember. I think it might have been May.
May.
It might have
Yeah.
been.
It
It might
was
have been.
May.
I think,
May.
I think
Yeah.
we started doing them
Gonna
not
be
long
May.
after we opened.
And then
Yeah.
and people loved it. And then we're like, oh, we got one keg left. And like, what do you mean? Like, what? This beer's awesome. What are you doing? And we're like, well, it's called experimental number 1. We gotta have experimental number 2.
We gotta make
and
something
number 3.
else.
So I said,
And now
well,
what,
just wait
number
for
8?
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just wait for it, and we'll coming back, and now it's coming back. So everybody
That's
that
awesome.
loved it, now you can come get it in cans, and we'll
All
have
right.
some on tap here as well.
So
Yeah.
2 questions. Number
Yeah.
1, how many cans? How much are you canning?
How many can? We're doing 2 15-barrel batches. It'd be about 130 cases of each, approximately.
And how often do you plan to do can releases?
We're doing it once to start.
You'll see how it goes.
This is our first one. We're kind of
saying-
figuring out.
So
where-
you'll
where-
tell
Let
me
him
November
get through the
23rd.
first
I'll tell you,
one.
yeah, exactly,
now
exactly.
we're the
Hopefully
first-
often. Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah,
often.
yeah,
Hopefully we can
definitely.
do it again soon. I mean, it'll depend.
Is the plan to have a cooler here somewhere in the tap room, or you'll have cans that people can come in and grab some to go, or
Yeah, that's the hope, is to get a cooler and be able to display them and people take them. In the beginning here, it'll be we'll display them out and run back into the cooler in
Yeah,
the back and
in the
grab
cold
them.
box.
Yeah, in the cold box and grab them that way. But yeah, I mean, it's all about how much money we had to spend on everything in the end.
it's what it is when
Yeah.
you own a business.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Another interesting thing is the experimental number 1 you've actually named.
Yes.
And that's
Yes,
the,
which
the
you did
only
mention.
Yeah.
beer that you've ever. But what I want to say was that I think it's really cool because there's so many crazy, ridiculous names out there for beers
that mean nothing
Yeah,
in
and-
relation to the style or what
which
the beer
I think
is.
are fun and funny. But it's
Yeah.
I always think it's cool to go to a brewery that just has this is our.
That was-
this is a good
that was
point
our
because
goal,
your
to keep it
beers are
simple.
like coffee porter, October.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
It
Yep.
is
Okay.
what it
That was on
is. It just
purpose.
is what it
Yeah,
is.
that was on purpose.
And it's kind of refreshing.
So why this one? Why a name?
Well, because we want to do something a little special, a little different for this beer, and we have received feedback like, "Hey, you got to name something. We want to name something." I mean, there definitely is almost kind of like the different, the different styles of beer, and chasing that cloudy IPA now and all that. So we're kind of satisfying the little feedback that we've gotten, but at the same time, we're only naming one of them. The Kolsch's stay in the Kolsch,
Right.
Yeah.
And that experimental series will be what we name it. So, we're going to stick with that. And that was, from us being craft beer guys and going out and being like, I had a great beer last night. I have no idea what the hell it was.
Yeah.
But it was awesome,
Yeah,
I
remember
forget
the
name of it.
The name
Yeah.
was
I don't-
really cool. I don't know what it was.
But I don't know what it was.
See, now all you have to remember is the brewery and the style.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
set.
And that's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. We actually have feedback about. We have a friend that's really into wine, and he says, and wine is usually intimidating to a lot of people because of different choices of wine and different types of grapes and terroir and years and all that stuff. And then he was talking about how confused he was with the craft beer industry. He's like, I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what I'm ordering. I don't know what this name means. And he's a wine guy. Like, how is he confused? So that's what kind of hit the light in our head, saying, we got to keep this kind of simple with the
And,
naming.
and our motto, simply crafted.
There you
Simply
Which is
crafted.
behind the bar.
There you go.
Simple.
And we should go to the bar right now because you said Kolsch and I'm thirsty.
Yeah, and there's a lot of empty glasses at
and
the
a
table.
lot of empty glasses.
Yeah, let's beer. Steph's all proud because she hit the button on the
That's
soundboard.
right. I can do this too.
It's really not that hard. They're labeled, and you hit the button that corresponds to the sound you want to hear.
And they're even color coded.
They are. Oh, did you see you're purple?
Of course.
Yeah.
As I should be. Hold on. Wait a
There it is.
I'll let you boomerang me in the onesie.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, good lord.
Breaking that out early. Well,
Really?
Well, we were drinking earlier. Let's drink again. We have a couple beers that are majestically sitting in front of us.
Majestically.
What are we starting with?
Probably Kolsch would be the best place to
Yay.
start.
All right.
Yeah, good idea.
I'm okay with that.
Good idea.
Now I had a sip
Wait,
of yours.
which one is the Kolsch?
Yeah,
Gee, I wonder.
You're gone. You shouldn't be on
Yeah,
the
right.
Yeah,
show.
right. This is a wheat beer, right?
It's so good.
Actually, believe it or not, it does have a touch of wheat in it.
A touch? A
Yeah.
hair?
A hair
little.
of wheat.
A hair of wheat.
Yeah.
A wisp of wheat.
Yes.
It's got a hair of Dutch.
I couldn't find that earlier.
This is really nice. This is
Yeah.
like the ESB and the Kolsch and Pilsner, which you guys don't have yet,
Yes.
are the type of styles
done.
that, like, if you go to a brewery and they've nailed like something like that, then you know, okay, this is a place it's worth coming to and trying their beers.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so glad you picked this to be in a can. This is going to be a great can beer.
It's in a can. It is. That was awesome. No, it's gonna be good for the people that don't like not hoppy and hoppy again. Going back to that
Or
conversation.
people that just
Yeah,
appreciate a really good Kolsch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Like
it's
me.
gonna go well with Thanksgiving dinner. That's for sure at my house.
Yes, that is very true. Especially, it will go quite well with your vegetables and your salads.
That's right, yeah,
but it would also go.
My tofurkey.
It does. This would go really well with a tofurkey. I'm telling you.
I see your vegan point, Steph.
Yeah.
To your vegan point, Wayne.
Your vegan point. Glad I contributed
So I'm going
something.
to a Friendsgiving next weekend.
Oh, God, I
And
hate
I
that
told
word.
them I would bring the tofurkey, and
Oh, yeah?
her response was, "I would love to try that."
Yeah?
That's
My
why she's
response
my
would be get out.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you uninvited then?
No, I have friends.
Do you?
That enjoy
I
tofurkey?
do. Yeah, that are willing to try tofurkey.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because your
Fair.
family won't.
Fair. I
No,
would.
my mom eats it.
I'll
Rich
eat it.
eats it. Rich's dad eats it.
Although, to be fair, I'll eat anything.
Wayne would eat it. Yeah.
That's true. Hey, Wayne, I grilled the shoe. Do you want to try it?
As long as it's got ranch dust and cheddar cheese, I'm all about it.
Well, I do like this beer a lot. It's very clean and crisp and delicious.
It is.
It is really
Yeah,
nice.
The yeast does all the work.
Yeah.
To me, most of the flavors of the yeast, you can
Well,
smell it
and
when
the
it's fermenting.
hops, which a lot of people I don't think appreciate, but a good Pilsner and a good Kolsch, I mean, these like cleaner German styles,
Yeah, just
the hops are, quite beautiful and fragrant and
And I think, in a case of a style like this, the hops kind of contribute to that clean finish. The kind of that bitterness kind of sweeps
cleans
away
out.
the maltiness. That
it reminds
you
you that
start with,
hops are not all citrusy.
Yeah, and then they serve many functions, and not just like dankness, rip the enamel off your teeth functions.
Well, yeah. You can actually get flavor out of them to complement the other parts of the beer.
So is this a recipe that you homebrewed? Mm-hmm. Or, okay.
Yeah. Made it just, actually that one's one that I made it and a bunch of my friends were like, wow, this is unbelievable. This is great. So it's one, I definitely hung on to and just recreated it. I think I went right to a big batch. I didn't even do a test batch. I just went and made it
Yeah.
and
That's
right
confidence.
at it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, or stupidity, depending. It worked out and kind of looking like confidence this
when
time.
it
Yeah.
pays off, it's confident.
There's
Yeah,
a
right,
fine
yeah.
line.
Yeah,
Very fine line.
Yeah.
So this is considered one of your seasonals.
This is seasonal, but it did so well. We had it in the spring. We brought it back, and we're probably just going to keep it. It
So
might
it's
be in
a-
like a fifth.
It could be.
It might. It could be
Nice.
Could
constantly
make
on.
the cut.
Yeah, definitely possible. It's doing so well with. We get a lot of we're Malvern, and the demographic here is a little bit older at times. So those people and then those people come in and like, oh, they ask like, do you have a Pilsner? I'm like, no, but we have this. You'll like this.
Yeah.
And we just give them this, and they're like, yeah, this is great. Done. They're sold.
It's a
Yeah.
good
They
just keep coming back
watching
and
a
getting
game
it.
kind of beer.
Yeah.
Because it's some beer like the coffee porter, which I had a little bit of earlier, and even an IPA. Like after so many of them, you're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, I need something else,
Right.
But a Kolsch, you could just drink it all day, and
Yeah, we sold a ton of Kolsch at those Penn State tailgates. A ton. And the
I can
people and
imagine.
they come up there like, what's your lightest beer? And we're like, well, what do you mean? And try to get them to because we used to because we did have a lager. We had an amber lager for a while, and that served that purpose for that beer drinker. But as soon as we served it to them, it was dark. They didn't want it.
Yeah,
So
a little bit dark too.
Yeah,
like,
a
not
little bit dark. They're just like, oh no, I'm not going to like this. We're like, trust me, try it. And the Kolsch just worked out that it looks like the beer that they typically drink, and it that taste, that flavor profile is
Way more flavor. Than
way
anything
more
they've had
flavor.
before.
Yeah, and they just keep coming back. They were, I think I don't know if we looked at the numbers for the last one, but I think we might have sold more Kolsch than one of the IPAs.
Yes.
That's rare.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Like we looked
awesome.
at the numbers and we're like blown away.
I think for me, if I'm gonna tailgate a game, or if I'm gonna drink a beer outside, like the end of August games would be good for the Kolsch for me.
Yeah.
It's a light crisp beer, but I think like the porter or something would be better for me like in the
Yeah,
winter.
in the winter,
because I want a
absolutely.
dark, full-bodied beer.
I love that broad definition. I'm going to drink outside.
I drink lots of places.
I know that before we sat down to record, we talked a little more about this tailgate, but do you want to explain to our listeners? It sounded like it was a pretty cool time, the way you take the TVs out and all that stuff.
It was, it ended up being awesome. It was kind of an idea that we were just throwing around and we made happen. One of those things you just almost like kind of like a brewery. we're hey, let's open a brewery. Yeah, we did it. Well, we love football and we want to watch it outside, and we were the three of us are season ticket holders for Penn State for 15 years, and now we have a brewery and we're not free on the weekends, so we still want to enjoy the game. How are we going to do that? And we said, I wonder if we could have TVs outside and have seating outside, encourage people to bring their own chairs as if they're going to a tailgate at Penn State, so that the chairs you pack in the back of your car. We bought two 65-inch TVs. We have a speaker that we put outside, broadcast the game out in our parking lot. We filed with PLCB to have our license extend to the outside area. We had two food trucks for most of them, for most of the events, and for Ohio State, we had to have 200 people sitting outside.
Wow.
in their chairs that they brought. And it was, the atmosphere was unbelievable, and it was a great game for about 3 hours, and then that last half hour,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
was kind of not good.
I only know
But-
because of my Facebook feed.
Yeah. then it got a little rough, but we did it for the Pitt game, the Iowa night game, which was awesome, and then for Michigan we didn't do it. We did more of an inside thing because that game started at 7:30. It was October, it's getting colder, but then Ohio State was outside again, and we got lucky that day too. It was almost 70, I think.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. So we'll continue. We'll definitely do that next year, and that kind of dovetails into the change that we did outside. So if anybody was here from early May through October, we had an outside seating area which we set up with post and rail fencing, and we had picnic tables outside, and that's where you can go outside and drink beer. That was a temporary spot until October 31st. What we did was move those benches inside the brewery, and we have a seating area now inside with those same TVs that we use for the outside events in the back of the brewery. So we've hung lights up above it. It's a great place to come have
It's
a couple beers and
awesome
watch.
It's really
back
cool.
there.
Yeah, I said to Steph when we were back there, I was like, it's really cool how the tap room kind of spills into the brewery a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little area in there you can sit in. It's
How does
really
that
awesome.
make you feel?
Without
Tom?
walking on my equipment. Makes me
I'm surprised
nervous.
you don't have like warning
Yellow
tape.
caution.
The warning
tape.
tapes,
Yeah.
I just didn't roll it out today. It's there.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
touch my.
don't
Yeah,
touch
right.
it. Don't climb on it. Don't I don't mind your kids running around. Just don't climb underneath it.
Don't
yeah.
try to brew beer on it.
Yeah, right.
Don't touch anything that's shiny and silver.
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck.
right. But no, it does. It works well. Like that's the beauty of having all this open space. We could do something cool like that.
Yeah, for now until you fill it with more brewing equipment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Exactly.
more important.
That would be much
Yes.
more important.
So we got to use the space now for something, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, definitely.
That's when you'll know he can't stand it anymore. When you get a purchase order for something big.
Yeah. right.
When the canning line comes.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. Yeah.
We'll just have to add more TVs to the regular tap room.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Or
We got
put
4.
some heaters outside.
Oh, that's
There'll
that's
be
true.
racks of barrels, the canning line. You got.
Yeah.
You can fill it in.
Yeah, exactly.
So shall we do the stout next?
Yeah, sure.
I'm excited for
Which
this.
is on nitro.
Yes.
Yay, nitro.
Just appreciate the aroma.
Yeah, I
from
was
still
just going to say,
finishing
I
the Kolsch.
love the aroma of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
the-
I'm
the
leaving a
aroma's
little bit of the
amazing.
Kolsch for later, but this, ooh.
I'm not.
No.
I didn't. I drank the whole
Mine is
Kolsch.
gone as
Mine's
well.
gone.
Yeah, I killed mine as well. That is so. It's so
It's
silky.
good. It's just smooth. The
Yeah.
nitro is great, and then like a little bit of every kind of grain you can think of that should go into a stout just to make it complex. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not making it complex with hops, so I might as well make it complex with malt.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a stout that hits all the stout notes. Like these
Yeah.
are all the good things about a
Yeah,
stout.
got
and
the
they're all in
chocolate,
there.
got the coffee,
Yeah.
got everything.
Especially for me in the nitro. Like one of my favorite things for any brewery I go to. I love going to Trogs. I don't get there very often, but the chocolate stout on. I know I'll be there in a week. The chocolate stout on nitro is one of my favorite things. I think nitro beers are severely underrated, and I've got a friend who won't drink nitro or cask beers because of the way it feels, especially cask. She says, "Oh, it's warm." But nitro, I try to get her to drink because it's not warm, but it's just
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah, it's
oh,
just better.
it's
Silky
just everything
smooth.
about it is so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And this rivals.
Well, and the other
that
thing is
chocolate
there are
stout.
beers that are good that when they're warm. Like,
Sure. I
agree.
warm isn't bad.
Well, they're probably
You can
brewed
actually taste them.
Well, and
Yeah,
by warm,
exactly.
by warm, we don't mean warm like
Yeah.
bathwater warm. I mean,
Right.
come on.
no,
yeah,
but,
just not cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Cool.
just not a
Not as
What
cold
are
as the
they-
Rockies, if you will.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. Like, where the mountains,
mountains
The
aren't
label did
blue.
not
Change
The
turn
mountains
color.
are not blue. Sorry, it's not cold enough. You're actually going to taste what's in the beer.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, I've been on top of those mountains, and it is cold up there.
Oh, I
It's
believe it.
cold. Did you have a beer, though?
No,
No.
Should have.
Not up there.
there's no beer in the tundra.
Got to take it with you.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're technically allowed to take beer into national parks.
Yeah, but who's going to check you?
What?
No, you're right.
What kind of country is this?
You can't have
Thanks,
a Coors on
Obama.
top of the Rockies. No, but we went to Avery afterwards, so it was all good.
Oh, all right.
All the hiking and the coldness, and it was all worth it. And
Well, where does Avery sit elevation wise?
not where I was.
Well,
in the tundra.
obviously not.
Exactly.
We were
How
up
many
to-
feet above
we
sea
were up
level
to
is the brewery?
11,000 feet.
Because I would want to drink at
Avery
11,000
is-
feet.
Well, no, I've
8,364.
drank at 11,000 feet. In Taos, there is a German restaurant on top of one of the ski mountains. Yeah, we had Christmas dinner there, and it snowed. I thought we were literally going to die driving down the mountain. Literally. And I'm
Literally.
using that word the
Literally.
correct way, not just...
Figuratively. I figuratively thought we were going to
No,
die.
I literally thought we were going to die. Like, we were sliding down the mountain. But no, we were drinking liters of German beers at 11,000 feet. But that was in New Mexico. This was in Colorado. But
Only
Is a liter
Avery-
still a liter at 11,000 feet, or is it a different measure at that size?
That makes my brain
it boils. It boils at a different temperature.
Actually, you know what's funny? One of the times that we were at that lodge, it was while I was taking my science classes as prerequisites to go to the Brewers Guild.
Right.
So I had to do one of those chats with my I don't even know if I might have been chemistry, like with my chemistry professor, while I was drinking beer at 11,000 feet in New Mexico. Eating German beer. Fun
Like
fact.
only on this podcast would somebody boast I drank at 11,000 feet. That's true.
You do get way
Like
drunker though.
achievement unlocked. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've, as people who know me know, I spend time visiting New Mexico.
Does that mean you would get
And
less drunk, like at the bottom of the ocean?
Well,
Does it work the other way?
no. Water pressure.
Well, I mean, like water pressure.
No
So zero.
water pressure. Good answer.
No water pressure.
Not water pressure.
Thank you. That's clarified everything.
Well, you have to when you're at higher elevations, you need to breathe
Well, the
a lot
air is
more
thinner.
because the air is
Right.
thinner, and you get dehydrated a lot more.
Right.
And,
It's a good thing there's water in
and
beer.
so you get like hungover faster. But I swear to God, I get drunk faster
Well,
when I'm at higher
also
elevations.
like there's with less oxygen, you're going to be
yeah, your
prone to being
brain
more
is-
lightheaded
right.
anyway. So you're
True.
already going to
So that
feel a
could be
little
why.
off. So
So when you're ready to open your second location, let's open it at 11,000 feet.
Done. Loveland Pass. It's an awesome spot.
All
there
right.
you go.
We'll do it.
Done.
He's already got the location.
Done.
I thought we were going to State College.
That's not 11,000 feet.
No, that's not high enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Pennsylvania is way too
Okay,
low.
I'll go to
Even
State
Mount
College.
Davis is only
You
3,000
go
feet.
there.
Yeah. What was that?
I said I'll go to State College.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, not 11,000. No.
So this stout
You
is really
just
good.
Build a
Good. I
really,
like the
really
stout.
tall brewery.
Yeah.
Wow. So we have another beer here.
Yeah,
do.
what's the third one?
This,
Just smell
just
it, you'll
smell it.
know.
You'll know. Yeah, I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
Listeners, can you smell it?
Smells like coffee.
We should invent
Smells like
a Smello podcast.
We should
Mellow
not.
podcast.
Smellocast.
A
Here, I'll
scratch-
hold it up to the microphone.
A scratch and sniff version of the.
That was not a
podcast.
good idea in 1910, and it's not a good idea now.
So you
The
do.
coffee porter with Fenn's cold brew coffee from Westchester.
This was
Yeah, I
what
was
I-
going to
Good.
say you add cold brew to the finished beer.
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
is I think what gives it such an.
Yeah, I was debating whether do I make my own cold brew, do I not? What do I do? What coffee should I use? How do I grind it? I'm like, why do I have to deal with this? Somebody else knows what they're doing. So I just went and found somebody who knew what they were doing and used their coffee. It worked out great. I did a test batch. He gave me a liter of the concentrate, and I put a little bit at a time into a 5-gallon batch just to get an idea for ratio. And put it on tap. It rated unbelievably well here. And then I'm like, all right, I know what I need to do. Just make it bigger, and did, and it worked out great. So,
Turn it up to 11.
Yeah,
exactly. 1,000 feet.
yeah.
Turn it up to 11,000 feet.
What's nice is it's not a super like bitter dark coffee taste. It's got like almost a
No.
light fruity quality.
That's
to
why
it.
the
It's pretty
cold.
cool.
That's why you don't do hot brewed
Yeah,
coffee. To actually
yeah.
get all that
Yeah.
bitterness out of the. You don't want to do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I went to cold brew.
Yeah. It drinks really smooth.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's like
I started off with a pint of this, and that was the right way to go. Oh my god, I love this.
yeah. Now you're all awake and drunk at the same time.
It's the best feeling
It's
ever.
great
Yeah.
when that happens.
You can only top that at 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
Touche.
.com.
.com.
So now that I have some beers in front of me,
Donate.
Can we have some fun?
Are we having fun?
Wait. Let me do it.
Go ahead.
Which
here
one
we
is
go.
it? This one?
Yep.
This one?
Yep.
This one?
It's the one
Oh.
that says the thing that we're
Here we
going
go.
into now.
That sound can only mean one thing.
Only one thing, indeed.
Only one thing.
Wayne, what does it mean?
Ladies and
What's our
gentlemen,
elevation?
It means we have entered into
The Twilight Zone.
the questionable, the zone of questionable decisions that we call Happy Fun Time Games.
Woo!
The
The
only
questionable decision is which game you chose for us to play.
Anagrams.
Oh, you just wait for it.
No,
The only podcast
no,
trivia segment that
no.
is infused with 100% organic Cool Ranch dust and aged on fair trade sour cream and onion cheese whiz.
Sour cream and onion cheese whiz?
Ladies and gentlemen, today we'll be bravely spelunking into the dark corner of the craft beer
I
world,
should have brought my headlamp.
where reside those beers concocted by deranged deviants driven mad by daring to gaze into the naked faces of the terrible old gods. Or, just looking for some cheap publicity. Either way, welcome to There's Weird in My Beer.
Yay!
Yay! Everybody loves
I like
this game. This is a game in which I will describe to you a beer that contains a bizarre and or unusual ingredient, and you must guess what that ingredient is.
Hot Cheetos.
And we will begin.
Chicken.
Let's make a hot Cheeto.
Oh.
Tastes like
We
chicken.
should.
Oh.
Let's make a hot,
we've
hot pants beer.
We've had fried chicken on this show.
We have.
It tasted like an IPA.
It did. Because chicken. Why? We are going to begin to my left with Steph.
Shit.
Our first beer is a Pilsner
Yes.
from Moody Tongue. A Pilsner from Moody Tongue Brewing
Wait,
in
you don't
Chicago.
put weird in your Pilsner.
Well,
Was released in 2014, infused with a much sought-after culinary ingredient. The run was limited to 500 bottles, released via lottery at a price of $120 a piece.
wow. That's unfortunate.
What adjunct could possibly command such a price?
Caviar.
Was it black truffles,
That's my
sturgeon caviar,
Was that? Oh my god.
or Kobe beef?
Stumped.
She is thinking really
Stumped.
hard.
Smoke coming out of those ears.
Yeah, this is Jeez.
It hurts me to think about this.
I have offended her deeply. I didn't do it, man. Moody Tongue did it
In a Pilsner.
in Chicago in 2014.
How would you even
messing with a
add
Pilsner?
Kobe beef and why?
Because you can.
People have
Whenever,
done.
see, I always
people have
guess
done worse
wrong when I
things to
try to
beer.
think logically about
Yeah,
this.
so just pick one.
Truffles.
Steph is saying black truffles. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going caviar just because I feel like I
Yeah, the premonition.
Yeah, my
that you had?
premonition, yeah.
Okay, all right. Caviar. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably caviar as well.
All right. Also saying caviar, and finally Jason.
Truffles.
Truffles. Also
Ooh,
saying
I
truffles.
thought that before you said it.
it's got to be Kobe beef. We're all wrong.
yeah.
Well, I would first like to say that the answers in the order they were given are ABBA, which spells
ABBA.
ABBA.
Nice.
You gonna
Steph
have a drop?
and
I
Jason
wish.
are correct because it was in fact black truffles.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Wait,
What do we win?
Created
Point.
A beer.
you get a point.
Nice.
created with premium Australian black truffles, hand shaved by brewmaster Jared Robin.
Oh,
This
that makes all the difference right
German style pilsners.
That's why it was so expensive.
That's-
Aromatics combine fresh black truffle and baked pear with subtle notes of toasted Pilsner malt. The flavor profile marries that of a traditional German-style Pilsner with one of the most sought-after culinary ingredients in the world. They encourage you to relax with this beverage and enjoy these aromatics for as long as patience allows. Steph's patience ran out long ago. Moving on
I want to take a selfie with the soundboard.
to the second beer of the game, and Dan's going to guess first on this one. This is actually an adult slushy. It was served this past summer at the Minnesota State Fair, wherein an uncarbonated 8% base beer was brewed by Insight Brewing and combined in slushy form with another potent potation to beat the heat, probably by just not caring anymore. What was this high-octane beer slushy additive? Was it moonshine, Red Bull, or Mountain Dew?
None of those make sense at all.
Well, pick one.
I'm not okay. I don't think it's going to be moonshine.
I am not okay with this.
I really am not. How about Red Bull or Mountain Dew? Those are the other ones, right?
Moonshine, Red Bull, Mountain Dew. Also known as Saturday.
Feel like Mountain Dew.
Morning, noon, and night.
I'm going Mountain Dew because I feel like that translates to slushy better. Also, I just really want a Mountain Dew alcoholic beverage because nobody really makes one.
Okay, fair enough. You could just put vodka in Mountain Dew.
You could, but like nobody at a bar will do that.
All right, Dan is saying Mountain Dew. Tom, what do you think?
Red Bull.
All right, Tom is saying Red Bull. What about you, Jason?
I go Mountain Dew. 'Cause
Also-
I used to sell Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
You used to sell Mountain Dew?
Fun fact. Previous life, I was a Pepsi key account manager.
Oh, really?
I was.
No shit. Specifically Mountain Dew, or that was just
Oh,
part
the
of
whole-
it?
the
It was
whole portfolio,
the
yeah.
whole shebang.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
Did you
all the Pepsi products in this place, it drives me nuts.
Did you ever sell it in beer slushy form?
No, but that would have been a great idea.
Okay. Finally, Steph.
I need you to repeat the question.
Oh, good.
She was-
Too busy selfieing.
I knew this was going to happen.
Selfieing.
So at the Minnesota
Is that a
State
word?
Fair this
It
past
is now.
summer, a beer slushy was made using an 8% uncarbonated beer mixed with another high-octane ingredient. Was it moonshine?
Moonshine.
Yes.
Moonshine, Rubu, or
Moonshine.
Moonshine, Red Bull, or Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew.
All right, Steph also saying Mountain Dew.
It's my Red
Tom
Bull.
was the only one who's correct because it was, in fact,
Son of
Red
a-
Bull.
That was such a
Yes,
setup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Bull and beer in slushy form in the summer heat. My only follow-up is a simple question. Have we learned nothing from Four Loko? Nothing at all. Moving on, Tom is going to guess first on this one, and this is from Two Brothers Brewing, and this is called the Smoking Jacket, the only beer that I've given you the name of before the question. Australian craft brewery Two Brothers celebrated their 1,000th brew with the release of a dark sweet stout that was blended with tea aged in cognac barrels and another barrel-aged concoction featuring a certain smoky ingredient. Was it charcoal, barbecue sauce, or tobacco?
Good lord.
None of the above.
Pass.
Yes.
I'll take D.
I refuse to
Yeah,
answer
right,
out
yeah,
of
right.
principle.
Yeah. Charcoal,
Barbecue
barbecue
sauce.
sauce, or tobacco.
Or tobacco.
They don't even make sense.
Tobacco, I guess.
Yeah.
All right,
That's the
Tom
point of
is
this
saying
game.
Tobacco.
That makes sense.
Jason, what do you think?
I'll go with barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. Give me my border back. Actually, it was stout. Sorry. Steph.
Tobacco?
All right, Steph also saying tobacco. And
I
finally,
don't
Dan.
see how the other two even make sense.
It was called the smoking jacket, right?
It was called the
It's gotta
smoking
be
jacket.
tobacco.
All right, Dan also saying tobacco.
It's a setup.
Or it could be a play on
Jason
words.
was the
Yeah.
only one who was wrong
Oh!
because it was, in fact,
It was that obvious.
tobacco. They wanted to capture the essence of a Cuban cigar paired with cognac.
I would drink that.
The brewers at Two Brothers started with a stout, created a concentrated tobacco beer by steeping Maduro cigars in oak-aged beer.
Our
And then
grandfather would like
a
this.
tea blend was selected that they felt would further support the delicate tobacco notes. The tea was aged in cognac barrels, and the remainder of the beer was further aged in medium toasted French oak barrels. That's a lot
This actually sounds pretty good.
going on. There were just 2 barrels in existence, and they were available only in the tap room in Melbourne, Australia. My notes specifically say, sorry, Dan.
I love it.
Moving on to our final beer of the game, and Jason is going to guess first on this one. This is an Irish Red from Aether Brewing. This, quote, double Irish Red from Aether Brewing in Milton, Australia, boasts malty dried fruit flavors.
Or flutes.
Or flutes. They had dried flutes and oboes right in the beer, carried on a luscious mouthfeel with a savory, smoky finish, imparted by the use of a very unusual, very non-vegetarian ingredient. Is it bone marrow, cartilage, or rendered fat?
Bone marrow.
All right, saying bone marrow.
Bone
Steph,
marrow.
what do you think?
I was thinking the same thing, but he keeps getting them wrong.
Yeah, don't guess.
He has one right.
I've won. 1 for 3.
I just gotta go with my gut. That's what I've been doing tonight. Bone marrow.
So rendered fat. Oh, bone
I
marrow.
was waiting for you to say it.
But Dan,
you're
what do you
funny.
think?
I'm going to go bone marrow.
All right, Dan also saying bone marrow. Everybody so far.
What were the options again?
Bone marrow, cartilage, or rendered fat?
Or barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. All of that would be good with barbecue sauce, I think.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I'll go with the rendered fat just to be different.
Cheddar cheese. Going with the rendered fat. Circle does not get the square because everyone else was right. It was, in fact, bone marrow.
Ew.
Yes, with the rather on-the-nose names of on-the-nose name of Bone and Marrow Irish Red. Yeah. A mixture of in-house double-smoked marrow and bones were used throughout the process in this double Irish Red ale. The brewer says the idea came one night over a dinner of offal, because apparently that's what people
dinner
eat.
of offal.
People eat that for dinner. They say the marrow helps with the subtle savory flavor alongside the Irish Red Ale's typical fruit and caramel malt character. I could not find any information on exactly where the bones came from, but since this one is from Australia, we're just going to assume it's kangaroos or dingoes and not people.
I thought you were going to say kangaroo was going to be one of the
options. Yeah, kangaroo.
So,
specifically,
there you go.
Kangaroo penis. So we're going to add
Wait,
up
what?
What did you say?
real quick to see who won. And oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it? In first place with a runaway victory, 3 points out of 4, Steph.
Yay!
Wow. Yeah, what? And we have a second place German Sparkle Party.
I like German Sparkle Party.
2 points apiece coming in right behind Steph, Dan, Tom, and Jason.
Yay!
Yes.
Well done.
Very good showing. Very good showing indeed. This is, of course, the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon, a list that keeps thankfully growing. Today, we would like to thank everyone who has shown us love. People like Wolfgang von Colt, Victoria Miles, Ron McDonald, Oak Brook Brewing Company, Marilyn Engelman, Josh Price, Joe Mansell, Jen McDonald, Eric Dickinson, and James Lamberg and Brian Mills, who both recently increased their donations. They had previously been patrons, but they are now increasing their level of donation and now can be read out on the podcast. So thanks so much to those guys.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, if you want to find out how you can get this and other cool perks, you can go to patreon.com/beerbuster.
And don't forget, patrons. It's only for patrons you get last call.
Yes, our exclusive bonus podcast.
When the inebriameter changes every single time. Last call.
Just think about like when you get to the end of an episode of Beer Busters, for those of you that actually listened all the way to the end, think about how crazy and stupid and drunk we sound then. Well, then we do like another 15 minutes.
Yeah, with more beer.
That only our patrons get to hear.
Yeah.
So
you can hear all the sloppiness, including Joe Man's message.
Yeah.
That Steph has yet to hear.
I've yet to hear it.
Yeah.
You will hear my reaction.
So, in this episode. So
sign up over at patreon.com/beerbusters.
Do it.
And you'll get access to last call. But as for right now, Wayne.
Yeah.
We got to pay our tab.
I know, right?
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
I do not spend my money wisely.
No, me neither.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey guys, we'd like to tell you about Casper mattresses. Now, if you listen to podcasts, you've probably heard of Casper. But if you haven't, let me tell you a little bit about it. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price of what you'll pay at the big box stores. Nothing is more important than a good night's sleep, except maybe a glass of good beer. Casper mattresses are obsessively engineered mattresses at shockingly fair prices. They have just the right sink, just the right bounce, with 2 technologies, latex foam and memory foam, coming together for a life well slept. You can try Casper risk-free for 100 days with free shipping and painless returns. If you want to try Casper, you can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting CasperTrial.com/beerbusters and use the promo code 50SLEEP. Start sleeping better today by visiting CasperTrial.com/beerbusters and entering the promo code 50SLEEP. Terms and conditions do apply.
This episode is brought to you in part by Loot Crate, which is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and so much more. You have until the 19th of every month at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, it's over, it's done, it's gone, you missed it. Take my word, you do not want to miss it. By supporting Loot Crate, you also show your support for Beer Busters podcast. You can sign up over at trylootcrate.com/beerbusters and enter the code BRIDGE10 to save 10% on any new subscription. And trust me, as someone who has lots of cool Loot Crate gear, you do not want to miss a single month. That is trylootcrate.com/beerbusters. Enter the code BRIDGE10, like the bridge of the Enterprise, and 10 forward to save 10% off your subscription.
No.
No. Your beer.
No. Know your beers.
Steph, what do we got?
I'm going to give you some history learning today.
Ooh, I like
we're getting a
history.
history
You like
lesson.
history learning?
I like
Anybody
history.
want a beer?
So
I can use beer.
we can always use beer. Yeah, you go work while I work. How's that?
Steph's going to read some
Okay,
stuff
you
for
don't
like
get a
the
beer.
next 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh!
You get a
Comments
beer.
like that will get you
get a
nothing,
beer.
miss.
You get
You get a beer.
You're cool.
You get a
You're
beer.
cool.
You
You're
get a
cool.
beer.
Fuck you. I'm out.
Can I do my thing now?
Yes.
Do your thing, please.
So, Dan,
So, Steph,
do you know what the difference is between a porter and a stout?
I'm not going to answer that. I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. Well, I was doing some research for this Know Your Beers, and I found a very interesting article by Martin Cornwell, published on beerconnoisseur.com,
Not
one of
Gordon
our
Strong?
favorite publications. No, but he does great writing as well. But he clearly answered this question in a very historical perspective for us. So we have to go all the way back to the end of the 18th century, specifically talking about stouts, but brown stouts was the name that was used to describe...
Wow, Hanau Brown Stout.
It was used to describe the strongest version of porter. So you had your porters, and then you had your strong porters, which were called brown stouts. So brown stout was a fuller-bodied kind of porter. And then later in the early 19th century, brown stouts very often had identical recipes to the same brewer's porter, differing only in the amount of wort that was drawn off a given quantity of malts. So that means less water was used for the mashing of stouts so that they would be stronger. Patent malt then arrived on the scene in 1817, and that was considered a way of making a porter cheaper since it could now be brewed with almost all pale malts, which would give a much better extract for the cost compared to the mixture of pale and brown malts that had been used before. While Irish brewers went over eventually to using entirely pale malt and patent malt to make their stouts and porters, London brewers at least used a mixture of pale, brown, and roast malt in their stouts and porters, though some considered to use just pale malt and brown malt. Moving on in 1844, are you keeping a timeline? There's going to be a quiz.
Is there, and this may be something you're going to mention, and I just want points because I think I know it. Wasn't one of them considered like the name for something that was like a lesser quality version? Like a porter was like a shitty stout at some point? Or am I...
Well, no,
I vaguely
it
remember
was
that, too.
Yeah.
The use of the patent malt made it cheaper to make the porter.
Okay, so it was just like a cheaper version.
Correct.
Right, okay.
So in 1844, the Whitbread Brewing Company was making 5 different black beers at the time. Porter, KP, which was known as Keeping Porter, Single Stout, Double Stout, and Triple Stout. They were all made from pale malt and brown malt only. The stouts were generally perigyled, which one or the other of the porters, that is. The stout was made from first strong mashing, while the other porter was made from a second mashing of the same grain, possibly mixed with a third or fourth mashing.
That's the thing I was thinking of, where they would kept using the same
Yes.
grain over and over again in the mash.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The only difference between the stout and the porter, therefore, was the strength.
Okay.
Again. So in the second half of the 19th century, then, London brewers' recipes for porter and stout began to diverge. So the stouts were now getting less patent malt than the porters and more brown malt, and the stouts were becoming sweeter and less dry than the weaker porters. Roasted barley then became permitted as an ingredient in the UK in 1880. However, there was no rush to start using it since it did not give as permanent a color as roasted malt, and the flavor was considered very inferior. Guinness, in particular, did not appear to start using roasted barley in its stouts until around 1930, 50 years later.
Wow.
So when the small brewer revolution started in Britain and the U.S. in the 1970s, there were more than 250 years of different styles and strengths of stouts and porters to choose from, and different brewers picked different sorts to recreate. The result is that in some cases, some brewers now brew porters that are stronger than stouts. So to answer the question, what's the difference between a stout and a porter? Well, originally a stout was simply a stronger version of a porter, and today the difference is really whatever the hell you want it to be.
Or why is a raven like a writing desk?
Exactly.
There would have been no wrong answer.
Exactly.
Shit.
Wow.
Imagine that.
You get a point, and
ask
you get
me
a point,
again.
and you get a point.
So, well, I was going to talk about the two different styles and like how we categorize them now, and I was like, no, this is kind of way cooler.
It
It's
is.
just history.
It is. I like that.
I knew some of it, but not all of it. It's very
That's cool.
interesting.
That's very cool.
You knew
very
more of it than I
interesting.
did. Well, speaking of beer, shall
Shall
we?
we?
Shall we beer again?
We should beer
Let's
again.
We're gonna beer again.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
Round 2, fight.
So we have 3 more beers that are magically sitting in front of us. Majestically, that's the word I used earlier. Majestically.
Yes. I think you need a different adjective every tasting segment, every episode.
Well, he did have his thesaurus I made for him.
Yeah.
Do you still have that?
Oh, that's
No.
right. I forgot about the thesaurus.
I think I spilled beer on it at one point.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Shocking.
Yes. Speaking
I need
of,
to make you a digital thesaurus.
Yeah, I'll spill beer on that too. So please don't.
don't do that. It's more expensive.
All of my electronics are expensive. What are we starting with this round?
Pale ale.
Pale ale.
Oh, he was ready for the answer
yeah.
there.
Well, I mean,
It
it's,
was
it's like he was
straight
prepared.
and
At least
simple.
one of us at this table is prepared.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
lighter.
I
Definitely
forgot how good that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, actually. I tend not to come back to them sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm amazed with how clear it is, actually.
Yeah.
It is super
Because
clear.
we're not able to filter beers at this point, so just these beers are made clean enough that they clear out really well.
Yeah. It's like crystal.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely.
So we got that. We went to a beer tasting at a bar locally, and I got asked, "So do you filter your beers?" And no. And then she started pouring them, and she's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure."
Are you sure?
She didn't believe me. Like, I guess when I said I didn't filter, she was.
You didn't know you had a filter fairy here?
Yeah, she was filter fairy. That's kind of hard to say. The filter fairy flew across the Firkin.
She was
and
wearing an
Fifi-
Irish wristwatch.
Yeah,
Irish
Irish
wristwatch.
witch watch.
Irish
a
wristwatch.
rich watch. Yeah. But she, I looked at it like, she couldn't believe that I guess she expected Northeast IPA when I said not filtered. I don't
Yeah.
know what she was looking for.
Yeah.
But
That's a default.
I guess, yeah.
All beers will naturally become clear
Eventually,
over
yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great candidate for cans, I think.
Yeah, I agree too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it should be on the list.
Add it to the list.
Definitely
Add it to
think
the
it
list.
should. Yeah.
Can
he's,
it all.
He's going to have a canning line here in no time. Just wait.
Can it all.
There's room. All you need is the money.
Oh, I'll spend it.
One of those is
I'll
easier
just-
than the other.
I'll just call the American Brewers Guild just got one in the last year, and
Yeah?
I'll just call them and ask their research and what they ended up going with.
Yep.
They have a canning line there permanently.
It's the wave of the future.
Yeah.
And did you notice Stickman? They're not getting growlers.
Yeah,
anymore.
I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't have room to keep the growlers in the brewery anymore.
Yeah,
because they're
because of the
focusing
cans.
on cans.
Does that mean they're
Wow.
not collector's items?
They are collector's
'Cause we
items.
all
and
have
we
them.
have like 4 of them at the house.
I got way more than you do.
Well, whatever. Stickman specifically or growlers in general? Because
Growlers in general.
I was
No,
going to say, yeah.
Stickman, though.
I think we all have one Stickman growler.
I was
Oh,
going to
I've-
say, I thought we all had the same amount, but
I've got-
I don't know. You
I've
have
got-
8,000 growlers total, so you might
I've
have
got
like
2.
10 Stickman growlers. Do you have 2?
You have 2
the
Stickman
32
growlers?
and the 64.
Oh, you have a squealer and a growler.
I do.
I like squealers.
You do like
The winner.
You may have mentioned this earlier, but what hops are in the pale ale, or is that a trade secret?
No, I don't. Yeah, there's no secrets. Been making beer for long enough that it doesn't matter at this point. But Simcoe, Citra. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Simcoe and Citra are the 2 biggest ones that you pick up on.
Yeah.
It's got some Chinook and it's got some Cascade as well.
It's quite tasty.
Yeah, the Cascade flows between the IPA and the Pale Ale. That's the link between those two. Cascades in both.
The link.
I think the pissiness of the Simcoe comes out more the more it warms up,
Yeah.
especially
sure.
in the aroma. Yeah.
There's a guy walking through carrying a jockey box with a pretty serious goatee. He's
He's from Colorado. They're kind of different out there.
Do we know what elevation in Colorado?
Ask him.
We would just.
Hey, dude, how high are you?
He is from Colorado.
He's from Colorado, yeah. Now, he was at a Helicopter Museum, had an event tonight, a little beer festival, and he was our representative at that.
Is that the same helicopter?
Wait,
museum
is that the homebrew event?
Yes, had a homebrewing event
Yes,
also,
we
yeah.
recorded there.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
That was tonight. So
That was
we
always a fun
Wasn't
time.
it in the summer last time?
I remember when we recorded there was,
It was
a
raining?
lot
It
of
was
rain.
rained a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of rain.
I don't remember what time of year it was.
No, no.
That is one of our more popular episodes.
Hey, that's cool.
So next is the IPA.
So next is our flagship IPA, Locust Lane IPA. Bravo Galena. Cascade, again.
What's the ABV on the IPA?
6.5.
6.5. I actually was suspicious that it was a little higher. It's got a very powerful character to it. It's nice.
Yeah, the whole thing is, it's the grain bills. It's a Pilsner and Marisotter mix in the grain bill too. It adds a bit to it. It's pretty complex. A little bit of grain, malt complex and hop complex as well.
Yeah, it is nicely balanced. It's not too much in one direction or the other.
Yeah,
I appreciate that you can still taste them all.
and it's it's bitter
Yeah.
and it's bitter, but it goes away. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't linger forever. It's not way in the back of your throat and doesn't leave.
And it's still quite juicy.
It is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
juicy. It's got a nice, but it's like a quick efficient juiciness. Does that make sense?
I like it.
It's an
I like
efficient
it.
juiciness.
Efficient
Like the
is
Jack
one of my
LaLanne
favorite
juicer.
words.
It's quick and easy.
We got to add that to our description.
Efficient juiciness.
Efficient juiciness.
Oh! Now he's coming with buckets.
Oh, high guy with buckets.
Buckets, glasses.
Buckets and glasses.
Oh wow, yeah.
I wish that was recorded video-wise. That would have been awesome.
I feel so
The
bad.
way he was
They just
looking
look over
at
at
We're
us.
all looking at
Nice.
it. Like, what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on?
who the hell
over
are you
here?
people?
Gotta get Nick over here.
Bunch of
Poor
people
Nick.
with headphones and microphones just staring at me
Poor
randomly.
Nick. Poor Nick being picked on.
At least we look official. We're not just like random dudes in a corner at a table.
That's true.
Nick's great. He's as close to assistant brewer as we have. He comes in quite a bit when I'm brewing and helps me clean up, basically.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
a sucky job, but he enjoys
That's
it.
what an assistant brewer does.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm cleaning up too, for crying out loud. Most
Yeah.
of it's cleaning, 90%
Yeah.
of the damn job. So,
yeah.
but no, he's a
Oh,
good guy.
that's why I'm so bad at it then.
Yeah, the cleaning part. Yeah,
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Well, remember when we brewed and all you did was
I
squeegee?
squeegeed.
Yeah.
We'll leave
Yeah.
that
that's it. And I thought there was more to that.
No,
That was
hey, man, we're right there. When I opened the bags of grain. That's what I did.
Yeah,
That's more than I do.
I opened the bags and I screwed that up. Most of the
Actually,
time.
that day
that's
you
what I
did all
did.
the milling that day.
Yeah, I did all the milling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was fun.
You might have let me
you
dump
guys should
in some
come here and
hops.
brew. That'd be fun.
Yes,
We'd have a
I
great
will.
time.
I would
Yes.
do it.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll start like later in the afternoon
Dude,
after like
I
4
just-
beers.
Do I have to bring my own squeegee? That's all I need to know.
No, we have 2. You're good.
Dan can
Got
squeeze you like a
backup.
motherfucker.
You can use the masculine one and the feminine one, whichever makes you happy.
Dan can play a squeegee like a motherfucking
I feel like
riot.
you should tape it like a hockey stick,
Ooh, I could do that.
like the top
Oh,
of the
yeah.
squeegee.
That would be cool. You
could
can bring.
do that.
You have hockey gloves. That'd be even better.
No, but I can get them.
I'm sure Rich still has his hockey gloves.
All right, we'll
somewhere.
do that. Otherwise, there's that hockey town USA or whatever over in Cherry Hill, the hockey shop.
Yeah. There's one up in Montgomeryville as well. Hockey Plus, I think
Oh
it's called.
yeah, near Keystone
Near
Homebrew.
Keystone, yeah.
We've been in there.
Or are you guys like surprised that there's places that actually sell hockey gloves? Like, oh, there's this one store I know of where I can go buy. Like, yeah, I mean, they come from somewhere.
I figured they just all magically appeared somewhere.
So now we have one more beer.
One more beer is our 4th version
Tom's
of the
like, thank God.
experiment.
So this is experimental number 4.
This is experiment number 4 with our
Ooh, I can smell the lemon drop.
lemon drop and
Yum.
lemon drop cascade, actually. So, got a beat on some lemon drop from the Hopsteiner guys, and actually the cascade. A lot of the cascades from Victory, believe it or not. They have a lot of extra hops that I end up going over there and picking up over in Parksburg.
That place is amazing.
That's an impressive
it's
facility.
a cathedral
It's
too
unreal.
here. It's unbelievable.
My favorite thing about that place,
The hop
the
sniffer.
button where it sprays the
Oh,
hops
that
in
sprays
your
the
face.
hot aroma at you?
You
Yeah.
were obsessed with that when we
I
were
am
there.
slightly obsessed
Yeah.
with that.
No, he pushed the button. I'm going to take pictures of you pushing the button. Put the button. I'm like, I'm hungover. We just ate breakfast. Can we go to the next brewery, please?
Oh, that was a rough weekend.
That was a long weekend.
This is really good.
It is. It's real. It's
Yeah,
got
it's different. We've had good reviews about it and bad reviews about it, depending. It depends on what people like. But I like that the hops shine. They stand out. They are what they are.
Yeah. I could see it being a little divisive, like it's because it's very distinct.
Earthy.
It's
Sure.
very distinct.
Yeah.
It's
Quite
earthy.
earthy.
It's
Yeah.
sharp. It's got a nice sharp citrusy
There's a little bit like
character,
vegetal part to
Yeah.
it. I saw a review about that. I'm like, vegetal. I tasted it. I'm like, yeah, she's probably right. I kind of get that. It just depends on what what you like or not. But no, it's good. It's something different. That's for sure. Something to try.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Now,
I
are
like it a lot.
you've done more than 4? Or
No, it's
you've
only the
done
fourth one.
4?
No, it's only 4.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been about one a
No.
month or so over the last
Yeah.
4 or 5 months. Yeah,
I think you said 8 earlier. So
Yeah.
you
I
were
just picked a major
I didn't-
a
very
random
much
number.
exaggerating.
I didn't correct you.
Well, he
That's
said
okay.
once a month. They've been open 7 months.
That was a good.
So
assumption
my
then.
number was closer than 4.
Yes, that actually makes a lot of sense.
So if anyone would like to learn more about Locust Lane, you can go to locustlanecraftbrewery.com, or they're on all the socials. I can't talk.
Locust Lane CB.
Locust
Thank you.
Lane CB.
On all the socials.
On the socials.
And if you want more information about their can releases, Facebook, I would think, would probably be the best place.
Yes.
Facebook's a great place.
Yes. Like tomorrow. Yeah.
Well,
there will
they-
be an event there,
in-
and then we'll continue
in podcast
promoting.
land.
In podcast
or
land, it's not
if people
tomorrow.
have
A while
flux,
ago.
people
A while
might have
ago.
flux capacitors.
They
just
could.
saying.
They could go, yeah, correct.
Just saying.
Correct.
Just saying.
If you have that technology, let me know. Dan at beerbusterspodcast.com.
Yeah.
He'll put it on his iPad.
Yep. And slide around with his finger.
And gently
Magical
tickle it.
iPad.
You laugh, but this is exactly what I needed to be able to do this efficiently.
No, it's perfect. I get it. It's awesome. And I think that our patrons are going to have a really great last call segment.
Yeah, they are.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I really don't think we need to pour another beer for that.
You remember our social media?
We are at Beer Busters.
At Beer Busters.
On Instagram and Twitter.
And
we
and
are
Facebook.
Beer Busters Podcast on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel, which hasn't been updated in like 2 years.
We're working on it.
Check it out anyway.
We're working on it.
Also, call us at 805-96...
Nope.
805-991-BEER.
805-991-BEER.
Which is 805-991-2337. And patrons will get to hear the most recent voicemail.
They will.
In last
Please
call.
do not accidentally dial 911 when you're drunk and trying to
No,
call us.
991. 99.
That was like a Price is Right game right there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Picking numbers.
Yeah.
What are you? It doesn't swipe like that.
There was
It's not Tinder. It doesn't swipe.
I've been your co-host.
boy.
Please remember
I've
to...
never used Tinder.
I know you haven't. I
have been
It
with
sucks.
my husband for almost 20 years.
Yeah, Tinder didn't exist when she was single.
Tinder's fucking terrible. So be glad.
Remember to spay and neuter your pets.
Help control the pet
Amen.
population.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my friends, this does bring us to the end of another drunk episode of Beer Busters. Guys, thank you so much for having us out here. Thank you for joining us and being merry with us.
It was
Thanks
a lot
for
of fun.
having us.
This is a great
We appreciate it.
I'm married.
Sure. Well, yeah, your wife was filming everything.
She was just here. She's still
I'm
here,
not.
I
I
think.
got married with you. What happened?
Maybe. I don't know. Polyamory and such. Well, I am Dan Baker,
Remember those documents you signed before we started?
joined by my co-host and virologist
Steph Hafner.
and the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
no squids were harmed in the making of this episode, but my liver certainly was. And I've lost some brain cells, but we'll see you next time.
At 11,000 feet.
At 11,000 feet.
It goes up to 11,000
1,000
feet.
Oh, God.